is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 27th of April 2020. Sorry, I was looking at a number of different things, trying something different because YouTube changed up once again the live streaming setup deal, the dashboard and whatnot, so I would make sure everything was going, which it seems like it didn't go properly, but I think we're live. We should be good. What's going on, everybody? We are here live on the 27th of April, 2020, to talk about tonight's Monday Night Raw. I thought tonight's Monday Night Raw was a meh show. I mean, halfway through, I thought it should have been over. Because I'm like, looked at my watch, and I was like, okay, there's still an hour and a half left. What the fuck? Like, this show felt like it dragged and just felt very, very long. So, I mean, if I had to give it a score, I'd maybe go 6 at best. At best. And that's being generous. That's being generous, to be completely honest. But, hey, we'll get through it. Maybe WWE has something better planned next week. I know next week's show was filmed today. So, I don't know. We'll see. Tonight's Raw was, like I said, okay. Felt long, like it dragged. So, Emmanuel FG in the chat says, what's tonight live? I don't believe it was. All I know is they were filming 2 episodes of Raw today, and it was unclear if tonight's was live. We'll probably know more definitively by morning if it was. But Heated Dragon 791 says, why so harsh? I'm just speaking the truth. I'm not lying. I literally, at 6:27 p.m. Pacific time, looked at my watch and go, there can't be more than 20 minutes left. Oh shit, hour and a half. I'm not lying. Like, that's exactly the thought that ran through my head. I'm thinking, got to be 20 minutes left. Looked at my watch. It was 6:27 p.m. Pacific time. There was still an hour and a half to go. So, I mean, you say I don't think it deserves a 6. I would say 7. Hey, that's your opinion. Not everybody has the same opinions, and everybody's allowed to have their own opinions, whether that's the same or differing. So let's get into it and talk about tonight's Monday Night Raw. Also, we do have something cool for you PC gaming players. A little bit later, an opportunity to win a game for free. So the show kicked off with Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton and, well, Samoa Joe on commentary. And so you're thinking, no Jerry Lawler. Where's Lawler? Lawler's not here tonight. Cool. Wrong. Lawler was here tonight. We just saw him later, unfortunately. Not to bag on Lawler or anything. So, MVP kicks off the show. He's in the ring. He says, we're the only nightclubs still open. Yeah, ha ha ha. Cool joke. MVP spoke about Money in the Bank ladder match coming up and introduced all 3 men from Raw that have qualified. Rey Mysterio that is, Aleister Black, and Apollo Crews, stating that he feels that Apollo Crews is the favorite. Boy, howdy. Did that change by the end of the night. So they all came down to the ring. They all sat down on the couches and whatnot. And MVP started with the questions. He asked Mysterio a question, but before he can answer, MVP answered the question for him. MVP called Crews to talk, but as soon as he did, Andrade's music would hit, and out would come Zelina Vega, Andrade, Angel Garza, and Austin Theory. Vega called them the future and said none of the men in the ring could measure up. They then made their way down to the ring. Zelina Vega went on for a while and concluded that Mysterio, Black, and Crews were boring and should allow her 3 to take their spots in Money in the Bank. Mysterio thought that this was absurd and also figured that that's not the only reason you're here. You may also want to be here to fight, and then all 6 men brawled. While Zelina Vega slowly got out of the ring because she was wearing frickin' half-foot, 6-inch high freaking platform heels. Like, these things were like this high. At least. I just did, John Elliott. You read my mind. Those things were huge. You can see that she was walking in them, but walking cautiously at times. So all these guys brawl, and you hear, and, well, you don't hear, but you think in your head, well, time for a tag team match, player. Well, Teddy Long, making, I mean, that's what it was. We got a 6-man tag team match out of this. I mean, as soon as Andrade's music hit, I go, we're getting a 6-man tag. It smells like a 6-man tag. So this match was long. And I mean long when it went 25 minutes. Yes, this show went 25 minutes. This show, let me do some math really fast. If we've got, so if we got, I'm not good with math, so bear with me. 2, 4, 6. This match was a sixth of the show itself. This match, actually longer when you add in the match and the segment that preceded it, or subseeded it, whatever it's called. Kristen McNutt with the, we'll talk about that, Kristen. I'm not going to jump ahead yet. Also, unless WWE has said anything about that on their Twitter, that hasn't been confirmed. And I'll go there right now just to double check. Oh, wait, what? Never mind, you're right. They just tweeted it out 9 minutes ago. Okay, cool. We will talk about that. Thanks for bringing it to my attention, Kristen. I had not seen that yet. But we will talk about that when the time comes. So Mysterio went for a double 619 on Angel Garza and Austin Theory early, but Andrade tagged himself in to cut him off. Mysterio used a leg scissor takedown and went for a 619, but Andrade's teammates pulled him out of the ring. Black and Cruz hit flip dives and Garza and Theory, which led to a commercial break. Black was getting beat up after the break. After a while, Black came back with strikes and tagged in Mysterio, who gave Andrade a leg scissor takedown. A springboard seated senton and a kick to the head, but Andrade kicked out. Garza tagged in, but Mysterio gave him a springboard crossbody for a 2. Garza punted him, and slid him out of the ring, leading to another break. Let's fast forward here a little bit, because this match, like I said, went long. At one point, Black kneed Theory. Garza super kicked Black. Mysterio gave Garza a seated senton, and Andrade tossed Mysterio from the ring. Andrade gave Cruz a spinning back elbow for a near fall. Cruz followed this up with a spin out powerbomb for a victory, for the pin, for the win. Yes, Apollo Crews pinned Andrade. So we go to the back. Well, actually, we get a Triple H celebration thing, which this was kind of lame. It was just quick 30-second things throughout the show, so it wasn't that bad. At least it wasn't when we got on SmackDown, which horribly sucked. So, Charlie Caruso interrupted an argument of sorts between Andrade and Zelina Vega. Charlie Caruso asked, "What's wrong?" Andrade looked at Vega and asked, "What happened?" Vega said his teammates let him down, and he agreed. Hopefully they're not breaking this trio up already. Andrade added that Cruz couldn't beat him one-on-one, could only do it in a tag team match. So as they left, Apollo Crews popped in all of a sudden and was like all happy and was like, "Hey, I overheard them. I can beat Andrade again, twice, in one night. Let's do it again tonight." Andrade and Vega returned, and Andrade told Cruz that he didn't deserve a title shot. Cruz then slapped him right in the face. Zelina was pissed and got in Cruz's face. Cruz then asked for a title shot, and Zelina gave it to him. So later on in the night, we did get Andrade versus Apollo Crews with the title on the line. We then got a video package recapping the angle so far between Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. Another Triple H moment. And we go into the second hour of the show. Yes, we're already at the second hour of the show, and that's all that's happened. That's what I was thinking. Like, what? So going forward, we got we're supposed to get a triple threat match between Asuka, Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler, but the match actually never officially happened. As Asuka entered, the announcers said that Asuka has a personal issue in this match and at Money in the Bank. They showed a replay of Jax clumsily dumping Kairi Sane into the turnbuckle before ultimately beating her in the match. Asuka cut a pre-match promo reminding us that she's tapped out Jax. Asuka kept going until she was interrupted by the music of Nia Jax. So Baszler yanked Asuka out of the ring and tossed her into a ladder before the match could even start. All three of them brawled, and Jax eventually got the better of it. She rammed a ladder into both women, sending them to the outside. She then teased dumping the ladder on top of them, thought better of it, and just dropped the ladder in the ring. They played Nia's music, and that was it. What the fuck? You're going to advertise a three-way, a no disqualification three-way, and not even deliver? Like, I don't get why the match didn't even happen. They said it on commentary. This match is no disqualification. So if the match is no disqualification, why couldn't the match even start? At least give us Nia knocking both women out, grabbing Asuka or Shayna, throwing them into the ring, and pinning one of them. Now I get what you're going to say. Well, they didn't want to pin Asuka. They didn't want to pin Shayna. Then don't make the fucking match. Just saying. This was not good. So then we see Bobby Lashley with Lana. He told her to remain in the back while he did his match. He knew she wanted to help, but she's been a distraction as of late. Lana was offended until Lashley told her that she was a distraction because of how beautiful she is. She said, "Oh, I understand that." And yeah, Bobby now knows how to speak to his wife and kind of mull over situations. So we got a 1.5-minute match. Bobby Lashley versus Denzel Jordanette, DJordanette. DJordanette blocked a kick and and then very lightly slapped Lashley across the face. It was so light that it almost made it better because he legitimately looked terrified at Lashley. Lashley then attacked him and won after a suplex and a spear. Cool. There was also a new female referee in this match. Not exactly sure who she is. If you guys know, let me know in the comments or the live chat right now. So then they plugged the new WWE Battlegrounds game. Commercial ended with Charlotte Flair decking on Becky Lynch. And I know people in the chat have already said, what's my thoughts on Battlegrounds? I've played NBA Playgrounds, and that's fun. So hopefully this is fun as well. I'm not going to really give too much of an impression right now because we don't know much of the game. It's going to be just another WWE All-Stars type game probably, which I wasn't a big fan of. But it's made by Saber Interactive. And if it's half as good as NBA 2K Playgrounds, then this game should be passable, decent, whatever. And I know a lot of people also asked me, is this going to be a full $60 game? Most likely not, because Playgrounds was always a $30 game, and then within like 6 months to a year, bumped down to $20. I know Playgrounds 2 is $19.99 right now, and that game came out in NBA Playgrounds 2, 2018, and that's a $20 game right now. So I believe this game should come out for $30, and then we'll go from there. They also did announce, not WWE, but 2K, that they got a new executive producer for the 2K mainline series, and that they're giving the Visual Concepts crew more time to work on that game and basically start from scratch or whatever. So we'll see how it all goes. Playground or Battlegrounds is supposed to come out in the fall, close to Christmas time-ish, maybe like around the normal WWE release time. So we'll see. Chris McNutt says that her name is Aja Smith. Okay, that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't want to say. But thanks for clarifying and confirming that for me. I thought that's who she was. Next up, we got Liv Morgan and Ruby Riot. This match went about 3 minutes. I totally expected Ruby to win, and that's not what happened. Because they played up the fact of, can Liv Morgan beat Ruby Riot twice, 2 times, 2 weeks in a row? So I'm like, no, they're going to go 50-50 and Liv won. Again. Shockingly. So Ruby hit a Riot kick with 90 seconds into the match. Morgan kicked out. Riot acted stunned, as if she kicked out of like a pedigree or something, after a 30-minute match. And Riot continued to attack Liv Morgan, and then Liv caught her with the flatliner, which they're calling the Oblivion, or whatever, however you want to say it, Oblivion, whatever. It's just a flatliner. It's her finish. She pinned Ruby. She looked stunned that she won the match. Afterwards, Byron Saxton asked her what's next. She said this is the start of the new chapter. She said she's had so many chapters and there's many to come. She was like many people her age, still trying to figure out what's next. She's got confidence, so that's good. That's what I said, Kristen. So Charlie Caruso approaches Nia Jax backstage. This was not good. She questions Nia's actions earlier tonight, and Jax said, "Who's going to stop me? You, Charlie? No. Who's going to stop me? Asuka? Charlie? No. Who's going to stop me? Shayna? Charlie? No." She then said, "Who can stop me? Charlie? Let me answer that for you." And she screams, No. She didn't say who could stop me. She said, hold on, I didn't write it fully down, but she said, is there anyone that can hold her accountable for her actions or something like that? She screams in Charlie Caruso's face. And it's like peeked to the mic and everything. Yeah, no. And meh. So then we get the Viking Raiders backstage. They're not in the car anymore. No carpool karaoke. Viking Raiders cut a promo on the Street Profits. Good promo, actually. They talked about how every time the Street Profits have seen like big success with winning a championship, it's right after the Viking Raiders either vacated or couldn't defend their titles anymore. In NXT, they vacated the titles to move to the main roster. Then the Street Profits won. On the main roster, they got hurt, couldn't defend. New champions, bada boom. Then the Street Profits won. So, that whole thing is, you might be good now, but you're only second best to us since you've never been able to actually beat us when it counts. They then made the challenge and said that they want the smoke. We then got a graphic that said Jinder Mahal returns next. So next up, Jinder Mahal took on Akira Tozawa in a 1.5-minute match. Mahal tossed Tozawa around ringside and won via pinfall after Samoan drop and a Colossus. Well, Joe was on commentary. Charlie Caruso wanted to ask Andrade and Vega a question backstage. Vega didn't want to hear any more questions and left. Garza slinked in. He called her a professional and asked if she'd like to get better acquainted sometime in the future. She said yes, and he gave her a rose. What about his fiance, the photographer? They kissed a few weeks back. Playboy. They got another Triple H moment. This was when him and Shawn impersonated Vince and Shane. We then got the United States Championship match that actually ended via referee stoppage after a 16, almost 17-minute match. This was probably the best thing on the show. I mean, the 6-man tag was good as well, but that went way too long. This one probably could have benefited with going about 5-6 minutes shorter. So they went back and forth early on until Andrade avoided a dive and hit a clothesline. Cruz sold it and then tweaked his knee on a moonsault to the outside as we move into the third hour of the show. After a commercial break, Andrade was in control and applied a single leg crab on the injured leg of Apollo Crews. Crews avoided a running knee strike and hit an angle slam. Crews followed this up with a clothesline, shoulder tackle, stinger splash, overhead belly-to-belly suplex, press slam, standing moonsault, and only got a 2 off of all of that. Andrade then dropped him into the turnbuckle and hit a running knee for a 2. They traded strikes until Andrade countered a press slam into a DDT for a near fall. Cruz kicked out of a victory roll and hit an enziguri and a press slam for a 2. Cruz went for a frog splash, but Andrade moved and Cruz landed awkwardly on the leg, the one that he injured earlier. Andrade tried to attack, but the referee ended up stopping him. Cruz sold it as if he was completely injured, and the referee called for the bell, calling off the match. Cruz could not continue. Andrade retained, and this was good until it just had the weird finish of, he's too hurt to go. Okay, cool. Well, as we see here, let me pull this up for you guys, because WWE has updated the situation with Apollo Crews. So I'm going to fast forward here a little bit. We did see Apollo Crews backstage, knee all iced up on crutches. Charlie Caruso goes to talk to him. She says, hey, are you okay? I know you're not okay. How are you feeling? And Apollo was fighting back tears before he's like, I can't, and just walked off. Well, as we see here, WWE has updated the situation with Apollo Crews, stating, and I quote, Apollo Crews suffered a knee injury that left him unable to continue in his United States Championship match with Andrade on Raw. Due to that injury, Crews will no longer be able to compete in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match on Sunday, May 10th. Stick with WWE's digital and social platforms for further updates as they become available. So as of right now, we do not know who will be replacing Apollo Crews in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. You assume it's going to be somebody from Raw, but who? The only person that I can think would maybe make sense would be Andrade, is who I would go with. So if I was booking it, I would say Andrade injured him. Well, that's the thing. Andrade really didn't injure him per se. He got injured in the match. But I would put Andrade in that spot. Maybe do like Andrade versus... Well, no, you can't do that because we're getting a tag match with Ricochet next week. I'm trying to think who can like Andrade have to qualify against. But maybe you could just go, he's the U.S. champion, put him in there. So as of right now, Apollo Crews is out of Money in the Bank. And we'll see who gets his spot. So going forward, they aired a clip of Becky Lynch's WWE 24 documentary. It focused on her winning the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships at WrestleMania last year. We then got a 4-minute match. It was Ricochet and Cedric Alexander against Everrise. This actually wasn't a straight up squash. I really thought this was going to be like minute and a half max. But Everrise got some offense, especially on Ricochet. Ricochet and Alexander still won pretty quickly, though. Ricochet gave Parker a super kick. Then Ricochet and Alexander did do a combo double foot stomp flatliner for the victory. So as they're in the ring after they beat Everrise, MVP pops up on the screen and congratulated Ricochet and Alexander on their win. However, he wanted to introduce his new team of Shane Thorne and Brandon Vink. MVP said, you may have beat these guys last week, but how about giving them one more shot at you guys next week? Ricochet and Alexander were like, okay, cool, let's do it whenever you're ready. So it looks like most likely next week. They haven't, I don't think it's been officially announced. I can double check. But basically the challenge was laid down exclusive. Yeah, I think they did officially announce it via a video with Cedric and Ricochet on Twitter. So then we see another Triple H moment when they invaded WCW. We then get the segment backstage with Apollo Crews on crutches. We then get another Triple H moment. It was the number one Triple H moment when he got injured in 2001. Yeah, 2001. And then came back in 2002 at Madison Square Garden from the first quad injury. Remember, Triple H tore them both at separate times, unlike Vince, who tore both at the same time. And then we move on to the main event segment. But before we talk about that, we got to talk about today's sponsor, and it is twitch.tv/TheDirector47. If you would like a chance to win a copy of Alien Isolation on Steam, all you have to do right now, or as soon as we're done with this Monday Night Raw review, head over to twitch.tv/TheDirector47. Go in there, jump in the chat, put in !raffle in the chat to enter for a chance to win a copy of Alien Isolation on Steam, completely free. All you have to do is head over there to the Director47 on Twitch and enter in. Again, all you have to do to enter is put !raffle in the chat, and you will be entered in to win a copy of Alien Isolation. We will also have the link for that in the chat and on the PW Unlimited community, or in the in the description below, and in the community tab as well here on the PW Unlimited YouTube channel. So again, head over to twitch.tv/TheDirector47. Put in the chat !raffle for your chance to win a free copy of Alien Isolation. So now we move on to the main event segment of Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins contract signing. So all night, there's been no Jerry Lawler. And all of a sudden, Jerry Lawler's here to host this. But did he really host it? So Lawler's there. He explained the rules of the Money in the Bank match for some reason before introducing these two guys. Like, these two guys ain't even in Money in the Bank. They've got a title match at Money in the Bank. Anyways, I digress. Rollins came out wearing a black suit. Still wore the glove because, well, he doesn't want to show the splint on his finger. McIntyre came out wearing some jeans, T-shirt, and a leather jacket. McIntyre then told Lawler, you know how this stuff usually goes. Why don't you skedaddle, basically. And he was like, I think you're right. So Lawler left, and it was just McIntyre and Seth. And my first thought was, then why the fuck you need to fly in Lawler? There was no reason whatsoever you needed to fly Jerry the King Lawler in here at all. But, hey, whatever. They go on. They both sat down. McIntyre immediately signed the contract. He says, I know how this is going to work. So why don't I sign this contract now? Seth, you sign the contract. We can get this done in 20 seconds. Rollins didn't sign it first. He asked McIntyre if he thought he really wanted this. Rollins said that he dropped McIntyre 2 weeks ago, but this wasn't about either of them. This was bigger than them. Rollins said McIntyre would be a great champion one day, but he's not a leader. Rollins was a leader, and the WWE Universe needed him. Rollins said that he suffered for that title, but McIntyre doesn't have to. He doesn't want McIntyre to suffer in the way that he did. It was Rollins' burden to carry. Rollins doesn't want to be the one to crush his dreams, but it was a sacrifice that he's willing to make, and in time, this would make sense to McIntyre. When that time comes, Rollins invited McIntyre to find him, and Rollins would not turn him away. McIntyre said, thanks for the speech. You really must work on some people. McIntyre said that it was clear now to him and everyone else. You're completely full of shit. McIntyre asked where all of his followers were and reminded him that the fans turned on him. McIntyre didn't know what this Rollins was really all about, but he did know he wouldn't let him win this championship. McIntyre had some advice to shut him up. He said, shut your mouth. He said nobody wanted to hear you talk. Not the fans, nobody in the back, and probably not even your own family. McIntyre advised Rollins to try to finish his job at Money in the Bank and go for the throat, because he's planning on doing the same. Rollins said the picture would be clear at Money in the Bank, and McIntyre would be better off for it. Rollins signed the contract. Rollins leaned over the table, and told McIntyre to have faith. McIntyre then drove him headfirst into the table and tossed the table out of the ring. He then went to set it for a Claymore kick, but he was a little too close to the ropes because who would appear? Murphy would appear and kick him in the side of the head. Rollins hugged Murphy. As they hugged, McIntyre flew in out of nowhere and Claymore kicked them both at the same time. He was aiming for Rollins, but Rollins managed to move and Murphy was killed instead. This is a good little finish here. I thought this was all right. Didn't need Jerry the King Lawler, but overall, I thought that this segment was effective. And I liked the whole, we're your followers. Well, here's Murphy. So that was Monday Night Raw. I thought the show was passable. I wouldn't say that it was great. I'd maybe give it a good, like I said, I'd give it a 6.5. I can't justify saying any better than 6.5 because there was a lot of filler and some stuff that just seemed like it went a little too long. But I do have a couple text messages I do want to read before we wrap things up. This person here does state, if it will load. Here we go. Who do you think should win the title and take it off of Andrade? Personally, I think Black could benefit at SummerSlam if he doesn't win Money in the Bank. Your thoughts? I think Aleister Black would be somebody good to take the title off Andrade for sure. That's who my prediction would have been. As it says, who is Dark Side of the Ring featuring this week? Give me 2 seconds to look it up. I can tell you in just 1 minute. Bum, 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 bum. This week's Dark Side of the Ring is Dino Bravo. No. Wasn't that last week? Dino Bravo? It's listed here as Dino Bravo, but I thought that was last week. Oh, never mind. I'm looking at the wrong time schedule. It's David Schultz. The description here says the show will be about his persona across the board, focusing on him slapping John Stossel and later attacking Mr. T in Los Angeles that got him fired by WWF. So it is about David Schultz. Kristen, I may be doing Twitch, but you may want to head over to twitch.tv/TheDirector47. He will be giving away Alien Isolation, as we stated earlier. I'm going to try and jump on, but I may not make it. We'll see, though. So with that, I want to say thank you guys for joining me here to talk about tonight's Monday Night Raw. Thank you to everybody for following us here on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter @PW Unlimited. Follow us on Instagram, just search Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow me on Twitter @TimmyBuddy. And also follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy. Have a good night, guys, and I'll see you next time.